Hey, Bob. You're muted.
Good morning. Want me to?
Whoops. Okay, you're on.
I saw your bot running around. Now I see the two of you.
And I think everyone's here. People are joining. Hey, everyone say hi if you're in the audience. And where are you from?
Look at that. Simi Valley, Michigan, North Carolina, Vancouver, Nashville. Look at that.
Morning, Josh.
Good morning, Ron. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me as your guest.
Hey, it's a village event.
Fun. I see all these people all over the country. Good stuff.
Yeah, we're just going to wait just a minute or so to get everybody on. We had a lot of registration for this event. Arizona's in the house.
Hey, Tammy. Good morning or good afternoon to you.
Woot, woot, Carrie Cowden. Woot, woot.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Josh.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
And Sean from Georgia. And Tammy from Florida. Woo!
So excited to be here. Look at how many exclamation points.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm great.
I'm great too. I'm excited for this. This is going to be fun.
So many first times on this event. Tammy says two of her favorite people are here. So since I don't know Tammy, is it safe to assume I'm not one of them, Tammy?
All right. I think we have it's getting exciting.
This is funny. This is the most produced sound effect show I've ever participated in. Ron, I really appreciate it. It's excellent.
All right, Bob.
Stanley, you may be muted on your computer. I don't know why, but yeah, everything's working. Stanley says he can't hear us on his computer, so it's a good thing you're on your phone.
Can everyone hear us? Everyone, thumbs up.
I can hear you.
So from a format standpoint, Josh and Ron and I are on the stage, and Amber, everybody's saying they can hear us. So I think we should get going.
Great. Hey, Michael.
All right.
Yeah.
People will join in the middle of my intro, but that's cool. We got a lot to cover. My name's Bob Levitt. I'm the executive director of the Specialty Advertising Association of California, otherwise known as SAC. I spend most of my days working with distributors, suppliers, business service professionals, building stronger businesses and stronger relationships. That's it. That's the whole gig. And I've been around the industry for a long time, and I've learned that distributors who thrive aren't always the ones who work the hardest. They're kind of the ones that do MacGyver. They work things out. They figure it out. They work smarter. They build systems. They delegate. And maybe hardest of all, they learn how to let go. That's one thing I've learned. That's exactly what we're here to talk about today. Along with several other regional association partners, we're bringing together two industry innovators to talk about AI, delegation, workflow, and the future of business and how it gets done in the promo industry. But just to be clear, this is not a webinar about replacing people. It's about helping business owners stop drowning in tasks so you can focus on growth, strategy, creativity, client relationships, and the parts of the business that only humans can do. It's kind of what I call delegate everything but your genius. And your genius is the relationship building and your human creativity. And because at the end of the day, our industry still runs on trust, relationships, responsiveness, connection. Honestly, I think a lot of people on this webinar probably feel the same way, and they feel the pressure. And if you're a distributor, you're probably really good at what you do. You've built a real client relationship structure, but somewhere along the way, you're pulling your hair out. You became the quoting department, the order manager, the follow-up team, the tech support, occasionally the therapist for your clients. And now AI tools are everywhere. Everybody's talking about automation. And you're probably thinking, great, now I got to learn one more thing. I'm supposed to figure this out too while I'm running my business. So today we're going to cut through a lot of that. We're going to try to really focus in on how AI systems and delegate support can work together in a way that actually fits our industry and operates. The title was sort of a misnomer. It's not delegate or die to AI or delegate or die to virtual or remote assistants. We're actually going to show you it's both, and you need both. And with us today, we've got two people who aren't just talking about this theoretically, they're actually living it. First in the AI corner, we've got Ron Friedman. His story spans about 30 years in the promo industry, second generation of promo in his blood, promo lifer, as I like to call it. And excuse me, he started as a distributor in LA back when fax machines were the new innovation, cutting edge technology. From there, he moved to the client side as head of merch for a major footwear company. And he grew their promotional merchandise division from 300 grand to 10 million. And over the years, Ron's built supplier brands, developed USB and augmented reality technologies, served on the SAC board at one point, and he helped create innovation and innovative solutions for Fortune 50 companies. Today, he's focusing on AI-powered tools built specifically for our industry, including Merch Bots, Merch Pilot, and an AI podcast studio. He proudly describes himself as the guy who gets tech to actually work for real people. So with that, I'd like to welcome Ron Friedman.
Thank you, Bob.
And then joining Ron in the handoff corner. I don't like to call it the VA corner because virtual assistant, they're real people. So they're real assistants, they're remote assistants, or they're just assistants. With us is Josh Frey, 30 years experiencing helping distributors grow through smarter systems, better operations, and the strategic use of these handoffs. And he also runs a distributorship, so he gets the gig. And like many distributor owners, he spent many years wearing every possible hat: operations, problem solving, putting out fires, all before breakfast, right? We all do that on our phones as we're rolling out of bed. Over time, Josh realized that real growth comes from simply working harder. It doesn't come from just simply working harder. It comes from working smarter and building systems, delegating effectively, and creating new processes that allow you to scale. The experience led him to develop and train high-performing virtual assistant teams that transform the way his business operates. And today, through his company, Selling Swag Partners and the Swag Coach, Josh is helping distributors kind of reclaim their time and improve profitability and build scalable businesses. So we all been slammed with the idea of we can never leave and there's no exit strategy as a small distributor. And Josh is certainly in a position to help alleviate that problem by building operational excellence and virtual support teams and AI enhanced workflows. He's a respected coach and mentor, and throughout the industry, he's helped many, many, many distributors prepare for the future without sacrificing the service. So please welcome Josh Frey. All right. I guess let's start with Ron. Let's jump right in. Ron and Josh, where do you feel distributors are wasting the most time right now? And maybe more importantly, what's the most expensive mistake they're making that you see them as owner operators? What are the big problems that they're making today?
First, I'd like to say I'm glad that we're doing this, and I want to welcome all of and appreciate all the regionals that participated. We have 150 people sign up for this webinar. Thankfully, this is being recorded, so everyone will get a link to the recording. And we have people from across the industry, from distributors, suppliers, the associations, multi-line reps. Really, I feel like the whole industry is represented here, and I think it's going to be fun. So I'll just jump into it. When I started in the business, I like to tell people that I like to be efficient, and I think maybe some of that is being annoyed with all the manual tasks that we have to do every day that seem like they're chores and they're not fun. So early on, I created database systems and CRMs to do some automation, whether it be, first doing a mail merge and sending out emails. And today, distributors are wearing so many hats, especially if you're really any distributor, no matter what size business you're in or what business you're bringing in. You're sending out UPSs, and you're cold calling, and you're jumping on fires. You've got your inbox is basically on fire, and that's your CRM, and your memory is all in that inbox, your email inbox. Well, I think to answer your question, Bob, that's the friction, is that there's so many things that are repeated every day, not just research, but basically not allowing the distributors to do what they do best. And what I found, what I'd like to do best was talk on the phone, discover what the client's needs are, brainstorm with them on ideas, and then certainly close the deal. But there's a lot of steps in between. So some of the things that AI is looking at alleviating is not replacing people, but replacing the tasks. And some of the things that are happening in the industry right now are where AI agents, and I'll end it with this, that AI agents are going to be there for everyone to use, for us salespeople, for the VAs, and we're all going to become managers of the VAs. And it's one good thing. They don't charge for overtime. They'll work around the clock, and they'll help us do the little things faster with automation.
And they don't talk back.
And they don't talk back.
And they don't talk back.
And as a developer, I found that they don't push back on scope creep if we're constantly adding new features to the products.
So Josh, you obviously lean heavily into the handoff side, as I call it, the assistance. Again, I have friends who call them VAs, RAs, or just assistants. We're talking about the same thing, just a different label, whatever you're comfortable with. I kind of personally like the idea that they're assistants. It just doesn't mean they're in your office or in your town, or even in your country, but they have the same role as if they were. So as you're working with distributors across the country, what do you see as the most expensive mistake they're making? And obviously, how Ron was very clear on solving some of those challenges with AI. I'd like to hear what you see as the most expensive mistakes and how you feel solving them with this handoff, or the VA world is the solution.
Sure. And I'll talk a little bit about the workflow in a second, but I think just to back up real quickly, and I appreciate the intro. So my background is a little bit varied. I'm a frontline distributor, and I still am a frontline distributor. And when I started off, I had my own distributorship 30 plus years ago, running my own business, just like a lot of independent distributors. And after 10 years of doing that and managing a team of people and having technology that doesn't even compare to the way it is today, I started to find these companies that I could actually outsource my back office to. And so for 20 years of my career, we talk about delegating, or in my case, I would say outsourcing, right? What are the pieces of the business that you want to hold on to versus what are the pieces of the business you want someone else to do? And there's lots of ways to go about approaching that. You could plug into a back office partner, and maybe there are people on this call that do that already. And then they provide that customer support and deal with the factories and so forth, which I did for 20 years. Or you could run it yourself and run it with a team that's based here in the US or in Canada that works under your roof or works remotely, or then you could do it with people that are actually overseas. And so my journey took me through all iterations of that. I started off domestically running my own distributorship for 10 years, and I spent 20 years outsourcing to back office partners. I kept butting heads with them based on the quality of the service I was getting or needing. And then I basically kind of 4 years ago, 5 years ago, actually, at this point, I made a pretty large misstep in my career where I thought that there was a level of service I was going to be getting that I didn't have. And I had to quickly adapt. And that's when I developed. I was fortunate I had one VA at the time, and I made this person my main person and started to build out a training program and systems of accountability so that I could have somebody really helping in my day-to-day business because I couldn't do all the work myself, and I had to do it on the cheap because I was already kind of paying a pretty large chunk to a back office partner at the time. So anyway, fast forward to where we are today. Now I've got a whole team of virtual assistants that run my distributorship, and it takes time. They run different departments for me. I've got inside sales. I've got a store team. I've got a customer support team or CSR team. I got a finance team. So the ability to delegate and trust people to help me run my business has been a game changer for me. And I don't know if I'm even directly answering your question now or not, Bob, but I think getting comfortable with what tasks you're willing to delegate, whether it's to a virtual assistant or to technology, is going to help distributors take their businesses to the next level. I can only speak from experience. It helped me take my business to the next level, and it really freed me up because a lot of distributors, myself included, and especially when I started off, just doing all the work is no fun. And trying to implement fun into your business is really doing the tasks that you enjoy and handing off the rest. And if you're in this business, which we all are on this call, then I'm guessing you understand that you're in a sales business and your time needs to be spent on revenue generating activities. And if you're focused on that and handing off the rest to AI technology, virtual assistants, other people, then you're ahead of the curve versus a lot of people in our industry who get so bogged down by the back office admin work, that they're not scaling their businesses, and their businesses are not as organized or positioned to scale as they would like them to be.
You bring up earlier, you brought up the control issue. I think the willingness to hand off might be there, but a lot of us small distributors, and I was one for many years, you get scared to hand off because you don't trust that handoff, and that control factor is so important, because the buck stops with you when the client calls. You can't blame it on the UPS driver or the factory that did the logo upside down. The clients don't care; it's all you. So how did you make that transition from, oh my God, I'm so busy, which you probably wore as a badge of honor, where like, I'm really busy. Yeah, well, busy running in circles. And I can speak from experience that busyness actually prevents the growth. But how did you do the transition and let go and just psychologically say, all right, I am just going to do this and focus? Was there a time that you specifically remember doing that, or did you just slowly evolve that?
Yeah, I think there were a couple of things. One is, I think deep down, I have a serious lazy factor, and there are things that I just will not do because I can't stand doing them at such a deep level. And so I set up some guardrails for myself, but when I started off in business, I did everything and I got burnt out, and I realized, like, if I'm going to have a life outside of working all the time, I've got to have some structure in place and some people in place. And even if they don't do them quite at the level that I would do them myself, the freedom or reclaiming my time, as you described before, is well worth the risk. And I think that is a tipping point for a lot of people. Actually, I saw this guy present on building out a virtual assistant team and leveraging virtual assistant support in the Philippines probably 10, 12 years ago. And his attitude was pretty interesting. He was basically like, I'd rather leverage a team of people, or in this case, AI, whatever, to get it 85% of the way there versus having to do it myself. And for perfectionists or people that are, type A like myself, that's not so easy to swallow. But
Right.
if you can put some things in place, like checks and balances, reporting, systems of accountability, training, then you can start to feel more comfortable that people are doing things the way you need them done. That's basically what I did for my own business, and that's what we basically developed for the VA business, because my attitude is, if my VA team can support me, I'm the biggest pain in the ass, and they can definitely support other distributors.
Got it. Good stuff. All right. Kate mentioned a great point, that you supported freedom. It creates the freedom to choose what you want to do with your time once you know that handoff's in place. Ron, would you go ahead and launch the poll? I think now's a good time to ask everybody just a quick question, and about whether you're using an assistant or an AI or both. So while you guys are completing the poll, we will continue going on with our conversation.
Can everyone see the poll?
Yeah. If you can't see the poll, say something in the chat, like, what poll, Bob? So, and yeah, so these comments are great. Trust and training are the key. Yeah, if you're not going to train your assistants, then you get what you get. Okay.
It's not showing.
Sorry?
The poll is not showing. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm seeing answers.
Yeah, I see the answers as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's good. It looks like most of them are 3, which is exactly where you want to put the. Yep.
So okay.
There we go. And the combination 1 and 4, we're getting a few of those. And Barry, just if you don't see the poll, we're just asking, do you use a VA now? Are you thinking about getting one? Do you use chat, or do you use both? That's really all we're asking, to kind of get a sense of who we're talking with. Okay, with that, Ron, I had said to Josh, what are the things that you see that really prevent growth? And I think we've both, all three of us have covered that with the busyness, the failure to hand off, the trust factor, the lack of training, all of those things. Did you want to show a quick video on sort of the automation side?
Sure. Let me show one of the ways that agents, the new way AI can assist with promotional product research. So I will launch this and play it. So the first part is basically taking a transcript from a call. So whether maybe it's a discovery call for an event with a client, and in this case, you could capture it from meetings and then upload a transcript. Let me go back to the first screen there. So you can take it from a connected Zoom meeting or Fireflies, or upload a transcript, or just type in notes for what you need. So you take a few minutes. It could be like back of napkin, or it could be a full RFP that you received. And let's play this. So here's the transcript example. This just gets dropped in. And after 2 minutes, the assistant, actually 11 AI assistants, come in here, and let me back that up. So what it does is identifies gaps that are missing. It understands all of the questions that need to be put into a quote for a bid.
Before you go on, I want to point out something. I use Zoom quite a bit, and I know there's many meeting platforms, and StreamYard here today is a brand new one. It's the first time I'm using this. But most platforms that you're using to have your meetings have an automatic transcriber, and so that you can really be present and listen and not worry about taking notes. The transcriber has saved me so much time, but also my ability to process what I'm actually hearing, because I'm not worried about documenting it. And I love the idea of taking that transcription, downloading it, throw it into AI and say, hey, summarize this for me and give me an email with action steps back to the people I was just speaking with. And I can't ever do that without screening it and editing it, but it gives me a huge head start. So I think what you're saying here is right spot on. It's been a huge game changer for me.
So now let's talk to one of the AI agents, because the agent has some questions.
Hey, it's Savvy. I've got the Equip Our Kids Outdoor Community Fundraiser brief for Sarah. EquipOurKids.org, right here. $4,000 to $6,000 total merch budget, 500 units, 9 weeks to event, delivery needed 10 days prior, approximately 7 weeks from call. Before I kick off the search, I want to clear up a couple of things.
Sure, what can I answer?
My main concern is the artwork. The brief mentions only a PNG logo. To avoid delays, we need to confirm if vector files are available or if the client is prepared for the cost and time of recreation.
Don't worry about the artwork right now. This is for product research only.
Understood. The brief also mentions 5 sponsors, but 2 are unconfirmed. Are the sponsor logos required on the merchandise itself or only on signage and other materials? This impacts design and production significantly.
No, the sponsors will be providing their own, and this is for Equip Our Kids logos only.
Excellent. That simplifies things considerably.
So
Wow.
then after the
You're talking a real live person.
Yes. And going through, and I cut this down from maybe a 10-minute interview to really understand. But after the research and the questions are answered, and putting up the guardrails for this specific project, Savvy creates a list, and this list is generated from promo standards and suppliers that participate with that, and also scoring the items and putting a justification in why Savvy chose those these items.
Before I move back over to Josh, can you just a question that Sean brought up that I was actually thinking is how much time did you spend, Ron, in training your AI assistant Savvy to do this? So having Savvy know to ask the right questions, the clarifying questions, all the questions that we know intuitively as distributors. It was phenomenal that you weren't even leading Savvy. Savvy was asking questions that we would have all asked.
Exactly. So let me just wrap up this video here first. But after it's generated, the user can select which items they want in a presentation, and then within a couple minutes, it creates a Gamma, an online PowerPoint style presentation that is very close to ready to send out as a lookbook. Also pointing out and bringing to the surface remaining issues for the event or the campaign.
Okay,
so to your question,
yeah.
So to your question, basically, it's what's coming next is Agentic AI, and we all started with learning what AI does through chatbots and inputting. Then we got folders, and we were able to put in some context, and that's kind of like our background. So what's coming next is actually real-time context, like what can you put in for context right now? Sean, to your question about training it, this is running 11 different agents that work together. One is looking at the guardrails of what it takes to make suggestions. One is doing the research. One is understanding the nature of the client, who the client is, what is the event, what is the campaign. So giving those very specific tasks, just like assistants, and having them focus on that, they can produce better results. And by putting this all into what we've done here is put it into our front end. And with anyone has the ability to work with, for example, Claude and Claude Code, as well as Claude Chat, where you can have Claude literally spin up the different assistants by saying this is the framework. So first you have to do the groundwork and lay out the rules for each assistant. That's the most important part.
Okay, and Sean, I can speak from experience. The more you first have to do is get an account, because as you log into ChatGPT or Claude or any other platform for AI, it's learning you, and it can refer back to previous questions, previous projects, previous threads, if you want to call them that. And many times I'll say, I use tone that's like I'm talking to you, and I'll say, somewhere in my mind, I remember we talked about gift ideas for construction workers. Can you pull up any chat we've ever had about that? And it's like, oh yeah. And then it keeps learning. So anything that I've asked, it's think of it as a database. Cliff is right. Training is always ongoing, and every time you use it, it gets better. Just like a real human, which I'm sure Josh can tell you, is the more you train it and the more ongoing training they have, the better they're going to be for you. It's no different with a human or an AI agent, in my view.
Here's a question from Eric. When products are selected, how does the match any preferred suppliers, or can suppliers buy preferred selections? Right now, it's not. It's basically supplier agnostic. The user themselves can actually select their own preferred suppliers. Absolutely. So that can be done through prompting the lookup with an AI agent, or in our case, by checking off. And I didn't really get into the how-to, which is not what this webinar is about, but all that customization and personalization, just like asking questions, is absolutely there.
And the training, and ultimately, can I get my AI agent to use my ESP search account, or can I use it to get into my Sage search or Distributor Central, so that arguably I'm getting answers that are not just generic internet-based answers?
That's exactly what's happening. And
Good.
with platforms that allow open APIs, and Sage is one of them. A few of the other ones do not, unless you're on the top tier plans. But when you have that open API, and I don't want to get into the weeds, Bob will slap my hand with a ruler, but it's called MCP connections, and it allows you to, with your database, to talk to your AI agents, have the AI agents work with your data, whether it's your data in Sage or your data in Merge Pilot or HubSpot or whatever your organization is.
Got it. Okay. Let's go back to Josh. Why a, we call them VAs, virtual assistants, or remote assistants overseas, whatever you want to call it. Why is it any different than me just going to Fiverr or Upwork, another platform where you can just get some support help on a project?
Yeah. Well, these are this is as niche-y as it gets, very specific trained virtual assistants for the promo industry. And if you pop up that slide, Bob, if you don't mind, slide 1.
Yeah.
We basically are all pulling from, we're basically utilizing, the same workflow. Our industry there are lots of ways to run your distributorship, lots of ways to run your business, lots of ways to, whether you've got outsourced people, a back office, whatever, the workflow is the same. And so understanding the workflow of our industry is critical to getting the support that's needed to support you as the distributor or sales rep to then free you up to reclaim your time and build your business or deal with your personal life or whatever. So the way I think of this, the way we run our business, is these various steps. And if you kind of think about it, starting with client inquiry and proposal, to quotes and estimates, to order entry, to production, to billing, and then maybe some outliers with regard to stores or marketing. Below that are different tasks that a virtual assistant, if trained properly, can handle for your business. And it's up to you as the distributor where you want to plug these people in and to do these tasks for you. So for me, I want a team of virtual assistants running my business from soup to nuts. I want to be freed up to focus on the client relationships, the strategy, and the networking, and the stuff that I want to do. So said another way, in a perfect world, I'd love to be able to chuck it over the fence, what I'm working on, and then the day-to-day is run. And for me, the kind of proof was in the pudding. I mean, it takes time, right? Like it takes a while. It's like the more you have someone working with you, the more the institutional knowledge they build, the more they understand your working style, the more comfortable you are in terms of how you manage a virtual assistant or manage your own business. But if you can get your company to the point where you have an organized system and people that are doing specific tasks under these different departments, then you'll have a well-oiled machine that's scalable, that's running for you. Should you decide you're not into growing your business or whatever, but you want to build your freedom. And for me, this is a model that I've done and implemented in my own distributorship, and the proof was in the pudding. I just hopped off the grid basically for 2 weeks and went to Japan and had my VA team run it, the distributorship for me. So no BS, the process works, but you got to really understand where it works best for you. And I think part of that is really kind of looking at your business and understanding where you need to improve your systems, and then plug in the types of people that can help you in the different tasks. One of the things I just wanted to point out real quickly, if you go to slide 2, is, I get a lot of distributors that initially I start working out with. I'm like, well, I'm not sure what my virtual assistant can do for me. I just don't have that much for them to do. Or maybe it's because they're not comfortable delegating. maybe their business has a lull, and so they've got, peaks and valleys like a lot of us with our sales efforts. So like, what are the tasks that a virtual assistant that's trained in the industry can do? These are examples on your screen of the types of tasks by department that a virtual assistant could be helping your business with.
This is excellent.
I have a question for Josh on that, Bob.
Yeah, go ahead.
Josh, so how much time does it take to train the VA, even if they're trained on the industry, but to get a VA onboarded for a particular business, a particular distributor and their processes?
Yeah, I mean, we put our VAs through 4 weeks of industry training. Then we'll do specialty training on top of that. Let's say someone needed a VA for like inside sales support. And that's basically it. Once they're trained up, we have a pretty, detailed onboarding process, aside from setting up all the, the emails and the phones and that kind of checklist. We do an ops game planning session with each of our VA distributor owners to really understand where their operations are, where they want them to be, and where to best plug in a VA so they can kind of hit the ground running. So, I used to think like, oh yeah, I know my business and this is what I want or whatever. But I realized and I do, I'm a hybrid. Like, I know how to sell and I know the promo distributor side, but I also have the operational kind of bent with my background. And I've realized a lot of people in our industry are more on the sales side, less on the ops side. So we try to help get them caught up a little bit to position their business so that they can have things run smoothly and free them up.
Good stuff. As I was looking at these 7 steps, which seem to be very consistent across the board, distributorships, I think you nailed it here. And then when I go into the weeds of the next slide with the actual tasks, this to me is how to build a distributorship. And what you've outlined here is such a great first step. Is if I were a distributor again, let's outline these 7 steps. You've decided, I see a sales VA, an order processing VA, a finance, and stores and marketing. So 4 or 5 of them divvying up these tasks. What I would assume is the next step is you would have your sales VA working with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Ron's agents, as an example. And the sales VA is going to use the tools that Ron just showed us. And ultimately, that hybrid is going to be the success of the future of a distributorship where you can totally scale. So I think these slides are fantastic. Ron, oh yeah, you're going to add something?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Not to tell you need to update your slide, but I get it. We'll add VA in later. Okay, so Ron, you have a couple of things that I want to add, and I'm going to leave it to you to tell me what you want to add first. Okay. Or you can add it yourself right there.
Yeah, sure. So in a similar vein to Josh's VA flow, in automation, it's actually very similar, but a lot of the steps are automated, but it still does take a human in the loop to see the progress along the way. So we've got, attracting, either getting referrals or prospecting, your social media, your referrals. With a system in place, you've got lead scoring on understanding the profile of who this prospect is, nurturing them with automation such as email sequences, having them understand your business. Basically, did you know campaigns about what you specialize in, and really focused on if you have a specific niche, which we call category authority in the distributor operating system. So there's a way to keep your authority growing beyond blog posts, but we're also doing podcasts now, the email sequences, interviews and webinars like this, and then converting it. So in this vein, I have another real quick cold call example of using AI. And then I think we have in the hot seat, Tammy raised her hands to bring up how she works with VAs and AI. So I will first show this. And this is a video which basically using, let's say you have someone who's cold calling, whether it's yourself or a team or following up. So there's this cold call back and forth. And to your point earlier, Bob, about recording these calls, they're invaluable. So the call happens, notes are taken, or a form is filled out on who the new lead is. The audio is transcribed, and what we have is the discovery questions, the objectives on the client are highlighted, and then a follow-up plan. So in this case, the automation, a note goes to Tammy that highlights what the quality lead is. Beyond just an email, but it goes into the system, into your CRM, into Merch Pilot, that understands everything about that conversation. It has the transcript, it has the recording. An automated email goes out 30 minutes later or immediately with a formal summary of the call sent to the client with an understanding of the requirements. Even if, in this case, I'm saying Tammy is on another call, hopefully, that this email is written and it's summarized specifically for that client. So it's not blast emails. They're not boilerplate emails. These are very personalized, hyper-personalized to the very specific needs of the client. And then a strategy briefing doc is created by AI, and that will show up next. So the strategy briefing doc is so when Tammy can pick up the phone and call this hot lead, she's got everything in front of her. And everything means who the contact is, what their contact information is, the summary of the call, the objective, what the positive statements that the prospect actually mentioned during the call, so she can actually focus on those during her follow-up calls, and including icebreakers and drafting an email that she could also send out personally. So all of this happens and is created within minutes. Some of this VAs are handling and stepping in, doing part of the processes and part of the steps.
Okay. Were you going to bring Tammy on or no?
Yeah. So Tammy, are you in the audience? Can you make a comment if you're still here?
Okay.
Are you here?
Well, while we're waiting for her, should we maybe answer a few questions in the comments? Because I think some of them are worth addressing.
One that I want to bring up is Jill asked, do the assistants overseas interface directly with clients? And I'd love your perspective on that, Josh, especially since you've been so heavily.
100%. They're communicating with the clients. They're communicating with the factories or the suppliers. They're communicating with every aspect of my business. And so, and I know, people that we work with, or I know people in the industry are utilizing virtual assistants, and they kind of hide behind a generic email. They only handle factories. They don't handle customers. I think part of that is what you're comfortable with. And I would say, starting off, leverage what you're comfortable with and then expand it. So like for me, did I start off with my VAs talking to my customers? No way. I built that trust with the VA team that works for me. And then we started to implement some basic things, like, for example, the communication templates and stuff like that, which are now totally outdated because I can leverage AI to create, or let them go and utilize, on a simple level, ChatGPT to formulate the sentence and comment to the customer in our in our
Makes
in our
sense.
voice.
Yeah. Obviously, tying. I would think the trust factor goes up as the training continues. So the better trained they are, the more you hand off. And to me, Jill, they go hand in hand. So I don't know that it's a rule. When I was a distributor in sales, I had many customers call and ask to speak to my assistant.
And I think that's the same thing, right? Like I've got someone who's my assistant, and half the people are emailing her and CCing me at this point.
That's fine.
Which is what we, right? But one of the things I just want to say real quick before Tammy goes on, someone asked about the relationship. The relationship building is always on you. That's how I look at it. Our job is to manage and build relationships, and a VA will never take that over for you, at least not the way I run my business. And I think that is where that reclaimed time is spent, continuing to build the relationship. Lots of ways to do it, but that has got to be a top priority for us in our industry, with focused on growing our businesses and our sales.
Okay, welcome, Tammy.
Thank
Take it
you.
away. Take it away, Ron.
Good to see you.
Thank you. You too.
So full disclosure for everyone that Tammy is a client of both Josh's and sellingswagva.com and merchpilot.ai. And she experiences both AI automation from a VA standpoint, and also gets powerful support and automation through an automation platform, MerchPilot. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your flow, how it works for you?
So that's ever evolving, I guess. When I first talked with Josh about hiring a VA, there was a multitude of things that we could get him to do. And I, like a lot of distributors, was not ready to give up. And I still fight that. I still want to hold on to everything and do it all myself. But I'm learning to give it to him and let him handle it. He has become proficient with our CRM, with handling MerchPilot, and pretty much can do most things, and some things that even I can't do within the platform. So for me, that's what I found really works, is he's able to manage that flow for our workflows and for, our new lists that are being added into the system, and making sure that orders are processed and things are flowing along properly, so that on a daily basis, I don't have to physically do these things myself. He's handling those and handling all of the automation management for me. So it's really kind of been where both worlds kind of came together, and for me, it's working.
How is the AI working for you?
So, as you know, the technology is something that I don't love, and it kind of makes me, I don't know, because I don't always understand all of it. So it sometimes gets a little frustrating for me, but it is amazing once I settle down how unbelievably easy everything actually is. And if you just take a deep breath and give yourself a chance to learn it, it all just kind of comes together. And so Val, my VA, and I have actually been learning a lot of things together, and that's been great for both of us, I think.
You had a recent experience with needing a rush landing page for an event. What?
I did. And I have a presentation actually tomorrow, and I needed a landing page. Well, we have a handout that we wanted to give out at the presentation, and I was like, I'll just drop back and punt, and I'll print it, and I'll give the handout at the event. And your team was amazing, and they were able to create this landing page that is awesome. And the handout that I'm going to use for my presentation is going to live on that landing page. So when at the end of our presentation, when everybody who's watching receives their gift from us, they'll get the little QR code. It'll take them to the landing page. They can download the document that we have for them. So all of that kind of came together through the team with Merch Pilot putting together the landing page for me, and then my VA creating the PDF that we're going to give to everybody. So I was basically just like, yes, that's good, do that. No, that's not good, don't do that. And everything else was just kind of happening as I was managing it, which was great for me.
And just for transparency, the team is using AI, basically delegating to AI to create those landing pages, which are actually part of our system. So with you provided a scope and said, here's the information and the copy for it. And with that prompt built in are agents, AI agents that are controlled by the VAs that will then create that first draft that you saw within, I think, an hour of when we got into the hands of the VAs.
Yeah, and it is amazing to me how I'll say something like, I just want a simple little page, and it ends up being this most amazing visual experience. So I'm really proud that when I share those things with my clients and my prospects, that they're seeing this incredibly professional designed website, for lack of a better, or landing page.
Landing page, yeah.
And it just makes such an incredible impression, I think, and it really elevates our level of professionalism when we're talking with our prospects.
I know we're short on time, so I'm just going to say that it boils down to what we were talking about before is the context. Context you give the VA, context you give the AI. In Tammy's case, Tammy had her brand guidelines built into the system. So we have logos, we have colors, we have her target audience. All of that is primed up in context, just like it is for a VA to say, build me this or create my 5-step email campaign, all based on context that we're providing to VAs and AIs. So with
Good
that,
stuff.
I know we're short on time.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tammy.
So I think we could obviously go on for another hour. I want to kind of summarize what I feel are the steps. I think the idea of that 7-step process of understanding your business, developing that first, like what are the anatomy of an order, as I call it, write those steps down, then divide them into like categories, whether it's sales or operations or finance, like Josh showed us. And then you can start dissecting it to look at, well, do I have the financial means to do an assistant? Do I have the trust factor and the time to build out an AI agent? Do I have companies that can do both of that for me at pretty low costs? And the answer is yes. And so I think there's many steps to getting started. But to me, understanding where your roadblocks are and where your bottleneck is the first step, so that you can then get to that point of delegating everything but your genius.
I think we all learned from this that it's not either or.
Correct.
We're living in a time that AI is there. And if you're not managing your AI agents, then you should be delegating. Delegation is the most important thing, because if you're not delegating, if you're not automating, then you're working in your business instead of working on your business.
Excellent.
100%.
Does anybody have any questions they want to put in the chat?
Yeah, and maybe show the special offer before we wrap up.
Oh, that's right.
Everybody.
I would be remiss. There we go. If you guys want to scan that QR code, Josh will give you 30 minutes to chat. I know Stanley was asking about, do we endorse any companies? As SAC, I'm agnostic. I'm not endorsing either one of these two guys. I'm just presenting an interesting subject. I know them both, so I'm a little biased, but there's plenty of options both in AI and in assistance. So I would recommend you might as well start with these two and go from there. And here is Josh's 30-minute offer on the screen.
And I think everyone here has my signature in a lot of the email reminders and text reminders that you received to get here today. And I offer the same thing. If you would like to just do a discovery call and see how, whether it's with Merch Pilot or anything, just on your AI journey, I'm happy to have you talk
and
with you.
and the thing I was just going to say, because it's not there, is if anybody, if it's okay, people seem to ask some questions, and I just want to share my my email. I'll post it in the comments, and people are welcome to ask me any questions they have that I didn't answer. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it and enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, it was
just
great.
getting started.
We should probably plan a part 2, diving in deeper into what's the first step, what's the economics related to hiring people, what are the systems that, Ron's side of the debate. It's not even really even a debate, but what are the economics of that? Is it monthly? Is it service? Is it based on usage? All of the above. So my biggest message to all of you is delegation is about giving up control in a trusted, strategic, and thoughtful way so that you can then focus in on what you do best. So I want to thank you both. It was great. We'll have to figure out if we want to do a part 2 or if we want to do a live one at the SAC Expo in Long Beach this year. So those of you from around the country where you have huge humidity problems in August, Long Beach, California is gorgeous in August. I invite you to come out to the SAC Expo. And with that, we appreciate spending your morning with us or afternoon, depending on
I have 10 minutes if we want to go through some of the Q&As if people want to hang a little bit.
Yeah, if you don't want to hang up, you can stay on for sure. But for those of you that are finished, thanks for being here, and we will follow up with you. Oh, last thing.
Thank you, everyone.
Follow up. All of the email reminders about this, that once you sign up, that was all AI. That was all automated. It sounded like Ron. It looked like Ron. It spoke like Ron. But all those were
the landing page, the sign up page, all of that was created with AI.
What was that commercial? Set and forget? Same idea.
This isn't Ron. This is an AI agent, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the real Ron. Okay. Thank you, everybody. You're welcome to jump off. That we're at our hour mark. Anybody wants to stick around, we can certainly stick around.
All right. I'll see you guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, let's look at some of these questions. If you want to, if you're sticking around and have a question, please,
well, we still got 50 people sticking around, so I guess they want to keep going. So
any questions?
Let's see. What's a good CRM to start with when you're? I'm new to selling swag. Oh boy, Kevin.
Can I
That's
ask?
a whole other webinar.
Can I answer that one?
Of course, I know where you're going with this.
Well, Merch Pilot is your promo industry CRM. Merch Pilot AI.
There you go.
And it's basically set up, and when we say for promo, it's because it's seeded with the logic for promo distributors and suppliers. We have suppliers and distributors as clients, which creates the automatic flow as well as just natural language. Hey, who are the leads I need to follow up with today? So not using your inbox as your CRM, but actually seeing who's been opening up my emails, who's clicking on what links, who's visiting my website.
I want to bring up something that Stanley asked because I think it's a common question. He's with one of the large groups, buying groups, franchise groups, affiliate groups, whatever, there's many different formats. If you're not an independent distributor, are you still able to use some of these services? And I think the main question I ask any business service provider, whether it's selling swag VA or Merch Pilot, is does your solution require an enterprise solution or can an individual sales rep do it? And in both of these cases, an individual sales rep can do it. Whatever your financial model is with I Promote You or Proforma or any of these guys, you sort that out. But absolutely, these are solutions that one person can implement. You're not doing it for the entire enterprise. There are enterprise solutions for the distributors that are large companies that want to integrate front end, back end, and everything in between. And there's those subscription services and pay for usage. But these two on the call today are absolutely perfect for a one person or a small company.
Stanley says, I have a love-hate relationship with my email inbox.
Don't we all?
I like to say, basically everyone is using, and I do sometimes too, basically you're using your email inbox to triage your whole business and to prioritize your day, when it shouldn't be that way, because it's definitely always a distraction.
Any 48 of you, 47 of you are still here. What do you want to talk about? What question?
Yeah, I saw a couple that I wanted to address just based on my own experience. So there was a question about specifically on the sense of urgency side, and the type of VAs that, without specific country, a lot of VAs that are servicing our industry are based out of the Philippines or India. Our VA team is based out of South America. It's absolutely a different culture. I've experienced working with both support out of India and the Philippines. It's this South American support is a different experience. So there's a part of it, I think, that's culture. That culture specifically, we work with a lot of Venezuelans. There is a thirst for learning and growth and improved skill sets, versus just taking a job. I'm not saying the others are. I'm just saying that's how the South Americans are. But it has to be coupled with training that teaches how to operate against a sense of urgency. Firm in hand, critical in hand date orders and backing into those orders and dealing with the factories and all those different pieces that go into managing the supplier and making sure that that the order ships on time as promised, blah, 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 blah. So I think that it's a combination of the two, combined obviously with leveraging AI and AI tools and some of the things that, Ron and I have talked about that I'm exploring in my own business, to how to leverage Claude Cowork to set up some automated tasks to manage the order workflow, and then having a virtual assistant utilize those tasks to then drive efficiency for my business. So long answer, but I wanted to address that. The most success I've had, of course I am biased, is working with the South American, specifically Venezuelans.
Do you want to answer Stanley's question?
How to find a VA company, and can we refer a South American one?
It's an easy one for you, Josh.
I mean, if you want to talk, Stanley, we can. It's sellingswagva.com. That's the VA service that we offer, and it's a done for you model, trained up virtual assistants in the promo industry.
Yeah, and again, being agnostic, to me, I saw some dialogue earlier between Ryan Paulus and a couple other people. I do agree there are some cultural differences generically, but I really feel it's going to go down to the training. And so if a company like Sell and Swag VA has a great training program, in your case, Josh, you said 4 weeks of all promo all the time. To me, that is one thing to look for. And there are a few others, Stanley, that do that. And I would investigate multiple solutions, because it's not a one size fits all. Josh and Ron have built fantastic companies. I've learned from both of them, and I played around with a lot of the AI technology that Ron has taught me. And yeah, this is a whole new world. It almost makes me want to be a distributor again, just so I can implement all these tools.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun, I'll tell you that. And I just wanted to say just one other thing, since we're kind of like talking about our businesses or whatever. So, our hope is to provide white glove promo support. And that's a combination of virtual assistants and leveraging AI tools that the VAs can use to support the distributors. Every distributor has different needs. I understand that. Similar workflows, different needs. So having an operational game plan, as we were talking about, is so critical to your business. Your business is different than my business. And then having ongoing support, which is something that I think separates our business a little bit, because we're providing ongoing training. So we do a 4-week training, but they're not going to learn the whole business. And, it takes a while. As we learn more about you learn more about the VAs. We're providing supplemental training and support. And I just wanted to share that, because it does take a while to kind of get the recipe, correct. It takes a while to tweak the system. But once you do that, you can really position yourself to scale your business and free yourself up.
I think before we get to Kate's question, that whole learning curve of the virtual assistant or the AI bot, or not bot, AI agent, is huge, and it's as much time as you put into it, is the better the result you're going to get. So I that ongoing training again and again and again. Cliff brought it up earlier. That to me is the winning solution, no matter which way you go.
Yeah.
I just posted in the comments that one of the other feature tools that we're launching for distributors is called AI Podcast Studios, which having a distinction, so you're not selling on price, but you're selling on your own authority and your own expertise. It's called AIPodcaststudios.net, which creates podcasts based on your LinkedIn post, based on anything you want, creates it and publishes it to Spotify and Apple within 10 minutes. So it helps. It's something that, Josh, I've been wanting to talk to you about, so the VAs can actually start curating content for distributors that they can publish.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's real interesting. I see a question here. Kate was asking, can you give an example of a specific function that a VA handles for your clients that's been a previous pain point? I mean, for me, having a VA that is in sync with me on the client inquiry has been huge, because they can then take the inquiry based on their training and immediately start sourcing the product, confirming the pricing, the stock, curating the ideas, and prepping the response while I'm out. And so, or off, or either. So teeing up that piece of the work for me, I would refer to that as inside sales support from a VA has been incredibly helpful. Leveraging a tool like Ron was showing would make it that much more beneficial. And that's just the start of the process. So again, if I got them going at that process, and then I can move them through closing the order and the transaction, handling the transaction piece of it, not the relationship. I want to make sure that that's clear. It's the transaction piece, because my pace and my productivity goes way up by leveraging the person and leveraging AI tools.
Okay, we are at 10:12. 36 people remain. Don't you guys have work to do? This is fantastic. I mean, I'm free if you want to keep asking questions, and it's up to you two.
Yeah, otherwise, I'm happy to answer questions as long as the questions are here.
Yeah. Integration into QuickBooks is a really interesting one at Salesforce and all the other CRMs that are out there.
Yes, Stanley, that's correct. And Scott, I just answered your question in the comment. Most CRMs like Salesforce, HubSpot, MerchPilot have native integrations where, Bob, you've done this with MerchPilot, with SAC, where there's a connection. It takes an authentication, so the whole process is less than 5 minutes.
All right. Anything else, guys? Or should we call it and say thank you and learning the audio tools as well?
Great.
I was going to start at the very beginning with, does this describe you? Right? It's like, exactly. What do I do first? No, this is a great platform, StreamYard. I have to look into it.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And feel free to add more comments. I think we'd like to do more of these. And it sounds like there's interest for it. So Josh and I will we'll get together and strategize. And Bob, when the next one might be, maybe next month. And happy to answer your questions along the way.
Yeah. And thank you guys again for having me. Thank you everyone for attending. And this is great fun and super informational. So awesome.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Go sell something.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.